We are at the breaking point. If you're watching this, you've seen the headlines, Federal Reserve servers compromised, emergency session called for Sunday night. The timeline has collapsed. 3 days ago, we were hearing whispers of a routine audit, but something happened in the last 18 hours inside the encryption vaults of the Treasury that changed everything. The auditors, specifically the independent team that Congress appointed, looked at the blockchain records and they froze. They didn't just find discrepancies, they found a parallel ledger. The deadline isn't next week anymore, it's Sunday at midnight, 36 hours. The Financial Oversight Committee has ordered immediate forensic analysis of every transaction over $10 million from the past 14 months. But here's what the cable news analysts are glossing over, the part that explains why senior economists are suddenly announcing medical leave. The committee unsealed the metadata log. We are not looking at accounting errors. We are looking at algorithmic wealth transfer on a scale that makes 2008 look like a rounding error. And the question now is not whether the system is rigged, it is how long it has been running on autopilot while nobody was watching. The entities involved are not your traditional investment banks. On the shell documents and the custodial agreements, we see names like Nexus Capital Solutions, Sovereign Algorithmic Trust, Apex Digital Holdings, entities that, when you peel back the LLCs and nominee boards, trace back to the same small set of power brokers who sit on the boards of the firms that control almost all of the automated trading infrastructure in the United States. These are the architects of high-frequency trading, the ones who built the systems that execute 10,000 trades per second and profit from movements that last less than the blink of an eye. And according to the unsealed metadata, they have been running predictive models that do not just respond to the market, they front-run entire sectors hours before the opening bell. The Oversight Committee saw something that terrified them. They realized that if they gave these entities 72 hours, the evidence would vanish into hardened, encrypted partitions, segregated environments that even federal warrants have trouble touching. So they cut the deadline. They set a 36-hour window to force disclosure before the digital shredders can finish their work. Why should you care about high-frequency traders gaming milliseconds? Because of what is buried deep in the fine print of the so-called Digital Banking Modernization Act that is being rushed through Congress while everyone is staring at the headlines. The same entities flagged in the metadata log are listed as primary contractors and infrastructure partners for the new real-time payment rail that will replace the systems your bank uses right now. They are not just building faster transactions, they are building predictive spending profiles, behavioral blueprints of your financial life. Every purchase you make, every bill you pay, every transfer you initiate becomes another data point feeding an AI model that quietly recalculates how much credit you deserve and on what terms in real time. You exceed your assigned health score by buying too much fast food and skipping the gym membership, your insurance premium adjusts before your next billing cycle. You buy the wrong book, donate to the wrong organization, travel to the wrong city, your risk profile ticks upward, and suddenly that mortgage refinance costs 2% more or never gets approved at all. The Oversight Committee sees this coming. They are trying, in the narrow gap of these 36 hours, to expose the conflict of interest before the system goes fully live and becomes too entrenched to roll back. That is why this deadline is not just another procedural date on a congressional calendar. It is very literally the most consequential weekend in the recent history of your money. You can measure how serious this is by watching what the insiders are doing, not what they are saying. Crypto markets are lurching. Bitcoin sheds double-digit percentages in a single afternoon. The volatility spikes across tech and finance at the very moment the metadata log is unsealed. That is not panic from retail investors. That is the sound of people who saw the architecture from the inside scrambling to get out before everyone else realizes the game has been fixed. If those records are actually produced on Sunday night, we will see the timestamps. We will see the clusters of coordinated sell orders. we will see pension funds and municipal portfolios dumped at pre-programmed moments, not because of market sentiment, but because the algorithm decided it was time to vacuum value upward. The crashes that wiped out retirements will stop looking like accidents and start looking like line items in a business plan. So here is what you need to understand. When power gets cornered, it does not confess. It creates a distraction. We have 36 hours. That is more than enough time to manufacture a crisis big enough to knock this story off the front page. Watch for an abrupt escalation in geopolitical tensions, a sudden incident overseas that demands wall-to-wall coverage and strong leadership. Watch for a conveniently timed cyber attack pinned on a foreign adversary, the kind of attack that just happens to hit the same data centers and cloud providers whose logs the committee is demanding. Watch for the invocation of emergency powers to protect the financial system, powers that also make key evidence classified and untouchable. They need your attention anywhere but here when Sunday midnight arrives. If the news cycle suddenly pivots to a terrifying new threat, if the graphics change overnight from charts of capital flows to maps of conflict zones, ask yourself one simple question. Who benefits from changing the subject right now? Understand this. This is not being said from the comfort of detachment. This is being said as someone who has spent years inside the system watching the patterns repeat. Former analysts, regulators, central bank staffers, the ones who still care more about the numbers than the narratives, have started to walk away rather than sign off on reports they know are incomplete. Teams are quietly comparing ledger hashes, preserving blockchain traces, exporting logs before they can be archived into oblivion. They are already drafting amicus briefs for state courts because they know that if the federal apparatus chooses self-preservation over transparency, lower jurisdictions may be the last line left. The next 36 hours will be loud. The disinformation machine will run at full capacity. You will be told the committee is partisan. You will be told any leaked data is taken out of context. You will be told that questioning the integrity of the system is an attack on stability itself. They will flood the zone with so much noise, so many conflicting explanations, that exhaustion will start to feel like common sense. That is the point, to make you so tired of trying to parse the truth that you stop trying at all. Do not give them that. Strip it down to the one fact that matters. The committee has asked to see the records. The entities at the center of this are stalling, dissembling, lawyering, buying time. Why? If the trades are clean and the algorithms are benign, they could publish the models and the laws before this broadcast ends. They could end the crisis with a single data release. They are not doing that. Instead, they are flirting with a constitutional showdown to keep the code and the ledgers hidden. That alone tells you more than any prepared statement ever will. Sunday night, midnight, the clock is ticking. We are standing on the edge of a decision point. If we fall into a world where your financial freedom is nothing more than a variable in someone else's algorithm, where access to your own money is contingent on a behavioral score you never agreed to and can never fully see. But if we stand, if the committee holds its ground, if enough people refuse to be distracted, if transparency is demanded loudly enough that it cannot be postponed again, then this grip can still be broken before it locks shut. This is that moment. The mask is slipped. We know the architecture, we know the names, we know what they are trying so desperately to keep out of sight. And in 36 hours, we will learn something about this country that no spin can disguise, whether it is still a place of accountability or whether we have quietly surrendered to a future ruled by opaque code and unaccountable control.